So, hello everybody. So thank you, Axel, for inviting me at the Philosophy Club of BCC, including some of the people from IFEC and from Toulouse. I'm very, very happy to be able to share some of the things I know. And you sent me a few requests on what you wanted me to speak. So I'm going to basically go through the question that you asked me to answer, and then whenever there are going to be other questions, you're going to you're going to ask, and if I know the answer, I even going to answer. So um, the one of the requests from Axel was to really speak about my experience in school. Obviously, you guys are all students, and for some of you, you might be you might be in year one or year two, and these are the tough years when you study chiropractic, because you have to study a lot of the basic sciences and a lot of the things that they're not yet necessarily very practical, although they might be useful. They are. Anatomy and neurology, they're super, super important. But especially, I imagine doing this crazy year of COVID where a lot of the students are not really meeting so much, and maybe you do not have so much exchange between the year one and year two, and maybe the year five and year six. The inspiration, can be sometimes tough to find, because it's studying. And I remember when I was, when I was a student at LACC, I studied in Los Angeles chiropractic. And, the fact that we were all together, we were like, I think more, my class was 150 people, and there were like 7 or 8 classes. So we were probably almost 1,000 students. So being together and doing activities together, even just being in the football team and in the basketball team and in all the extracurricular activities, was so inspiring, because you would speak to people that instead they were towards the end already had patients in the clinic, and it was fun. And so that also motivated you. Very, very often we would meet in the technique room, and you would see how the people that already knew more what to do than you did, you would observe them, and then there was an exchange. So um, here I am to say that if some of you year one, year two are there and says, oh damn, what am I doing here, and this is like really boring, just hang on, because you're at the beginning of the most amazing journey of your life. I mean, I totally, totally, truly believe with all my heart that the chiropractic profession, the way I practice it and the way I see so many people practicing, is just one of the biggest gifts that one can receive in life. Just the fact that your karma led you to BCC, just the fact that your karma led you to IFEC, and you're there studying and learning how to help people in a natural way through the chiropractic techniques, is just a gift. And if even though you might be demotivated by having to study at home alone, maybe on Zoom, or having stupid classes, even classes that you should be doing manually, and maybe you can't, just hang on, because it's going to get better and better and better. For me, I came from Switzerland. I did 1 year of medical school to start to be able to enter the chiropractic college in Los Angeles. And when I arrived there, I actually didn't even know what an adjustment was, just to let you know. Like back then there was not that much information. I just knew that chiropractor would help people with their hands. And naturally, that's all I needed. I didn't even know what they did. I never went to one. So I remember the first week when I was there, and it was the end of the previous term, like it was in the middle of July, and I stayed there for a month before starting school in September. And there was this Gonstead guy, big Swiss guy with big mustache. He was going around with a Harley Davidson, the ponytail and stuff. And he said, "You don't know what an adjustment is?" It's like, "You never been adjusted?" So he felt like, man, I was like, a blasphemy to chiropractic college. Arriving to chiropractic college, never been adjusted. Well, yes, that was me. I didn't know shit. So he said, "Come with me," and he got into the adjustment room. I guess it was the first time I saw all these. There was like 60 adjusting tables, And he put me like on a, on a knee chest, and he palpated and he says, no, 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 it's C1 that needs to be adjusted. And then he, put me in a sitting chair and he did just a C1 adjustment. And I think that my C1 went from Los Angeles all the way to San Diego, because I really felt like, sometimes you got those patients that you adjust and it doesn't go click. It goes, that was my C1, and then he went to my L5 and he did the same thing on my L5. I got up and my life was changed, and I said, oh, this is what I'm going to do on patient. This sounds really cool. And that's how my entire chiropractic career in Los Angeles started. So guys, you know so much more than I did when I started my chiropractic school. And, but having a connection with the students that they're in the later terms, of course, as soon as this COVID shit is going to go away, you're going to be able to really enjoy it. And, I actually went to school really because I wanted to help people with my hands. I wanted to help people naturally. I didn't know what chiropractic was. I just knew it worked because the chiropractors that I saw in Switzerland were very successful. They have a full practice of happy people. But literally, the first book I tried to read in my very poor English when I started chiropractic school was Science, Art, and Philosophy of Chiropractic by D.D. Palmer, 1910. Didn't understand anything he was saying. I mean, I was like, I didn't know English anyway. And so it was really bad. So when I arrived in LA, I didn't have any background or any miracle cure. And that's why I decided to become a chiropractor. I just wanted to help people with my hands. My mom used to say when I was 10 years old, I used to pick up like a stone and try to heal it with my hands. So maybe in a past life, I already did something similar and I wanted to study this way. But year one was very easy for me because having done 1 year of medical school, a lot of those neurology and anatomy were all repetition. So I was a very good student in spite of my very poor English and in spite of me not studying really very much. I was in LA, first time in Los Angeles, California. It was like 1986. It was just a lot of fun. My defining moment, Axel, you asked me, what was the life-changing moment for me? It was not coming from chiropractic, actually. I was in Los Angeles. Somebody actually was in Amway. Amway is a multi-level marketing company where you sell soap door to door. And I was like not having much money back then. So I was doing whatever. I became a teaching assistant in anatomy at the college, tried to make some money. And so I signed up for this multi-level marketing. And this multi-level marketing company actually had a program where you were supposed to read a lot of books. Think and Grow Rich, the art of public speaking, how to win friends and influence people, like amazing books that really develops the character of a person. I never did anything with the multi-level marketing, but I read these 100 personal growth books. And all of a sudden I realized that try to be excellent, try to do what I was doing well was what was going to make me really happy. When inside your system really feels that it's doing 100% that it can, all of a sudden something moves you in a way that is completely different. And so in the first year that I just didn't do that much, all of a sudden I became like a maniac. Like I would go at 7 o'clock in the morning in the technique room and practice with some of my friends technique until 8. And then we had classes until 12. Then we had a 1 hour break. One time a week, I would play soccer with the European. Otherwise, I was in the technique room from 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And then school would start at 2 to 5. And then at 5 o'clock, I would go to a club or go to a technique room. So I used to practice 2-3 hours of techniques a day. And again, I was never really gifted to start with. My hands was not like, oh my God, I can feel everything, not at all. One of my first palpation classes, you guys have palpation classes, right? Where you have to feel all the processes and know where you are on the spine. I was just like sitting with a patient in the same technique room that I was describing before. And I said to Mark, my next door neighbor that is still my friend right now, I said, Mark, I don't feel shit. Are you feeling something? He says, no, I don't feel anything. And I said, boy, is this the profession we've chosen? Because like, I can feel nothing. And, and that's how I started. And then eventually by practicing a lot and I became a very good adjuster. I think so. And And these 30 years of seeing, between 200 and 500 patients a week got me to be able to really be a good adjuster. But I didn't start like one. And those books that really taught me the excellence, the character of a person that wants to be excellent in what he does. I really started to really become a maniac. I used to take seminars when I was in school, or I was making debts in my bank account, but I was taking every seminar I could take because as a student, they were going to cost so much less than being a doctor. And, but it was really this idea of like build first your character, build first your big why. Why do you want to help people? Why is it that you want to be touching somebody to set them free? Why is it? What turns you on in the people? And what kind of a person do you want to be? How dependable, how committed, how passionate, how energetic you want to be? That is the base for me. And I put so much attention into that. And then the technique comes with it. Then it's just practice. That once you have the passion, once you have the energy, then you get up an hour earlier and you go to school and you practice more. Then you stay 2 hours longer than everybody else. I used to skip, just hopefully there are no teachers here, but I used to skip classes in term 4 to go and repeat the technique class of term 3. So I did like the technique class of lumbar, I think 3 times. The cervical technique class, I think I did it 3 times. I used to sit in the corner and listen to it again and practice and practice and practice. That's how I became really, really good at what I was doing. But my defining moment was not chiropractic moment. It was about a me moment, about who I wanted to become and how excited I wanted to be about being the best I could be, developing my character, And so, in my opinion, uh, as students work at developing your bigger why over and over again. That's why in my seminar, the emotional, the mental, the philosophy part, we are the philosophy club after all, it's really like one of the biggest part. Because if you know why, then the how and the what, they're easy, right? So think about it. Think about it for a second. It's like the big why for you might be helping people. My question is why? Why you want to help people? What moves you to help people? Because you see them suffering and you want to see them less suffering? What moves you? Is it because you see people that when they suffer, then they they make less of their life and you want to help people having a better life? You want to help people because you know that if they have a better spine, they have a better life. And what is it that moves you? Like, to me, very often I now see very little new patients because I have a full practice since years. But to me, my office has seen 19,000 new patients the last 30 years. So I've seen a humongous amount of people. And for me, the fact of seeing the light back on in people's life. I work a lot with children. When a child comes in, it's dyslexic, he doesn't know how to do well in school, and he's just not happy about life. And all of a sudden, then he starts doing better, he starts being better. Or like you have a grandmother that cannot play with their children because she's blocked in low back pain, and all of a sudden she's alive again. And for me, that just turns me on. That kind of help for me, it's what makes my day. I just finished working 20 minutes before I talked to you. I had like people like, that I follow since they're little kids, and I see them grow up now and entering the world with excitement and being great at what they do. And I know that chiropractic is a big part of that. Nutrition is a big part of that. All the things I teach them are a big part of that. And for some of you, might not be helping people only. Might be also that you want to become an important person in the community. It might be a why like this. Uh, I've been always a leader. I was a ski instructor when I was a kid. I was in politics since I was a little kid. I was the president of the students at my high school and at my lyceum. So I've always been a leader. I always wanted to make a difference in the community. I wanted to always help. So for me, saying, okay, if I can become important, if I can become famous and make chiropractic be known, make chiropractic be important for people, For me, that was a drive. Maybe for you, it is not. But, in my town, in my state, Ticino is the south part of Switzerland, there were only 4 chiropractors when I arrived. They were all in retirement age. Chiropractic was done. There was nobody else. And I said, no way, like I want to be adjusted. I just want to make sure that this thing gets to be known. And so I work very, very hard to inspire a lot of my patients, a lot of my kids and students, and follow them, like I'm following Mattia, or like Alize, that I'm following her since she was in her mother's womb, when her mother was pregnant, to really try to motivate. And now we're like 12 chiropractors, 14 chiropractors, and the thing are growing. And I teach at the Chiropractic Institute in Switzerland. For me, being important in the community was making chiropractic being known. When I was the chiropractic physician for the hockey club in Lugano, which was winning championships left and right, I had 8,000 people seeing me in the bench. And when they were looking at their the pamphlet for the game, there was written the medical doctor, whatever, and then the chiropractor, Dominique Hort. And chiropractor were not in sports team before that. Afterwards, because I opened, and they start being there. That was important for me. So maybe for you, the big why is to go home and inspire your community to know what can be done to help people naturally through chiropractic care. Maybe it's to help your family. For me, my patients are now my family. I see patients since years. When Alize comes, she's part of family. I see her since 24 years. And to me, if somebody of my patient has a problem, has a challenge, it's sort of like part of my family having a problem. And therefore, if I know there is a seminar that is going to solve that, or if somebody knows something about it, I will pick up the phone. I will try to learn something. I will do whatever it takes. For the first, I think, 15 years of my practice, I took, I think, between 15 and 20 seminars a year. Every weekend I was gone. And I tell you, I wish I did more when I was a student, because that was expensive, really expensive. Closing your office and paying the full fee of a doctor, it's completely different. But hey, I was committed. I was committed to help my family. When I see my son now, and you met Kevin, some of you, because he was helping me in the seminar that I gave in November, um, we really solved some tough shit for him through chiropractic care. And my mom lives upstairs from me. She gets taken care of every week. She's 82. And I know it's a big part of why she's in super health is because she's under chiropractic care. And it's the same with my wife. It's the same with when I see chiropractors, and some of you are women, to be able to take care of your child in chiropractic. I mean, it just, when I just imagine that, like, you have already an amazing connection with your child, and on top of it, you just move that innate inside of them through an adjustment, or through a best adjustment, or through a network adjustment. It doesn't matter. But I mean, for me, that's a huge why. I mean, for me, it's like to be able to connect to my family. If my family has a problem, whoa, let's take care of it. And obviously, not least, hopefully you'll be motivated by the fact that you will be able to support your family at a completely different level. Because if you're a great chiropractor, you can make great money. And without wanting to be greedy or anything, I think that if we serve a lot of people and we do so much good to so many people, it's good that we make a lot of money. I don't see why only soccer player can make a lot of money. I mean, we do so good for them. Great that we get paid, and we get paid a lot, and that's wonderful. So you'll be able to support your family so that your children will have an easier time when they have to go to chiropractic college. I don't know you guys, but I wish, my fathers and my mother were chiropractors, and when I was in school, I didn't have to struggle so much because whatever, money and everything else. So be inspired by that, uh, be inspired by continuing growing. When you are in chiropractic office, you're going to see that your patients are going to challenge you, not because they're going to say, hey doc, why are you not healing me? But they're going to challenge you because they're going to bring problems, or challenges, or pains that you might not know the solution for completely. And that challenges to grow, to learn more, to be better. Sometimes I remember when my first cancer patient, came in, and it was not about beating the cancer. She already knew the cancer beated her, but she said, "I want to die in peace." That was a growing moment for me. It's like, okay, let's work on something different than I'm used to. Like, it doesn't matter the pain. It's about the person. It's about who this person can be all the way to the last years, last month or days to our life. I think that we can take care of people before they're born by taking care of their mothers or while they're pregnant, and then take care of them as soul by taking care of their family after they leave. I mean, what a profession, guys. I mean, what a profession. What a gift, and for me, variety, it's very important. I want to have all day long. I always have different cases, and it's never boring. So to me, the why, you gotta search it, but you're gonna have so many opportunities to find your why, and it's gonna be maybe not one, not two, maybe three, maybe four. Hopefully, I inspired some of the whys that are maybe important for you. And the second thing that I think is important is to really have passion. And passion is sort of a consequence of a big why, but is also um, a consequence of the energy that gets created when you move innate in people. When you clear people's life or you help people clear their life, the energy of, it's called syntropy, right? The energy of organizing, helping people organizing themselves at a higher level is so powerful that people come in and they carry that with them. Yes, of course, they're going to still have pains, and some of them, they might still complain because they're not happy with their pain, but you can feel there's a change in their body, that you can feel there's a change in their life happening. And that, to me, it moves my energy. It helps me. It's not like a, kind of. It's like a kind of energy. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Okay, so one of the things that I've explained this already in the past, that to me keeps always the passion alive in our profession, is the fact that you're going to see the techniques you're going to use and the way you're going to help your patient are going to grow with you. When I started my career, I started as an applied kinesiology doctor with nutrition and with adjusting and working with kids. That's how I started. It was a lot of pain patients, therefore, and and then I started building from there. But I was a holistic doctor with focus on pain and how to help people with pain through being healthier. That was my philosophy back then. And there were like amazing chiropractic technique for that. But when I grew up in me and I started discovering more things like the energy, when I start really feeling energy in my body, when I start really realizing that we're not only a physical and emotional and mental body, but we're also an energetic body, we're also our soul, all of a sudden technique like best or technique like network showed up, and all of a sudden I had answer for that as well. I could develop and work with patients at different level of the consciousness that I was on. And not many jobs have this gift inside. Not many profession can say that. The more you're going to grow, the more you're going to see that you're going to use different techniques, you're going to attract different patients, you're going to bring patients along in a different way. At the beginning, I may have seen patients just for, you know, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 times, and then let them go. And then instead start working with them every month. And then instead start really working on themselves every month. And the whole practice has changed. The whole tone of my practice has changed. But that is because I had changed. And that, for me, it's what keeps my passion alive, because it's that way of being able to always serve at greater level of um, depth, greater level of consciousness. Really, that's what it is at the end, right? And of course, you're now students, so learn as fast as you can to grow your level of energy inside your body at all time. Even if it's school that we're talking about, make sure that you eat the best you can. Make sure that you do the good exercise. Make sure that you really stick around with people that are positive people. Make sure that mentally you read good books. You don't get lost in things that makes you waste time or spend time with energy that is entropic, that is energy that pulls you down. Don't be part of that, because people are going to look up to you. Most patients don't come to you for what you do. They come to you for who you are. For people that are following me around, they know I repeat this all the time. Most people are attracted by my energy and they want a piece of it. They want to feel the way I feel. They want to have the excitement I have when I greet them. And when I greet them the way I do is because my energy is high. I do that because I keep my energy level super high in spite of what my body is suffering from. Like on Sunday, I hit my foot against a door. I almost broke my foot. And on Monday morning, I was working, limping. My energy was not lower. I was in pain. My energy was not lower. For many years, I had two herniated discs. And so at the beginning of my careers, very often I would work antalgic. It's not fun when you got this shooting pain in your back and you're supposed to do a side posture adjustment or a neck adjustment or whatever. But you have plenty of energy to do that, and you go through it and you heal and you do whatever it takes, but you have this energy that carries you along. And as students, it's even more important because you don't have the patience to really cheer you up or to really motivate you. You got to read a book of anatomy to motivate you. And I understand it might not be that motivating, but if you link what you do to the why you do it all the time, if you link the studying for an exam that is not really that exciting, I understand, but if you link it to who you're going to be and why you do this, it's going to be definitely less difficult. It's going to be more exciting. I tell you that. Somebody asked Axel to ask me, how do you become a badass chiropractor? I hope I'm passing this to you, to be one of those chiropractic uh, doctor that can really move mountains. You got to have a big why, you got to have passion, and you got to have energy. Once you have that, then the technique is going to come with, then the application is going to come with, the excitement is going to come with. And at that time, you're going to be so moved by what you do that the love, the most important thing, the love that you will have for your patients is going to grow. It's going to become so big that you will know that your patient, yes, of course, they come and they pay you to heal, but they know that you are there because you love them. I never think about money when I work with patients. I never do. I always only think about them, about loving them more, wanting to know their life, wanting to know who they are behind that neck pain or that headache or that low back pain or that twisted ankle. Who are they really? What do they do in life? How is their life? How is their family? That's how I became a family doctor, because I take care of families all the time, because I'm asking, how's your mother? How's your father? How's your child? How are they doing? A lot of your patients, you're going to be surprised, but a lot of the patients, they come in for a headache because a friend told him chiropractic can help for a headache. They might don't even know the chiropractic help for low back pain. Seriously, I've had so many people that's talking and they say, oh, my wife has low back. Why is she not in? Well, because I didn't think that you could do something about it. Well, yeah, I'm not here only to help people with headaches. Chiropractic is great for anything. And so all of a sudden, then you start having the wife and then the child and then the grandparent and this is how you become a great chiropractor. It's just like wherever you go, you share your dream, you share your passion. I under this this microphone, I lifted the microphone with the one of the book that I wrote, right? And it's about soul, it's about who we are as soul. This morning I went to get my blood drawn, and I sold two of my books to the person that drew my blood and to the secretary of the lab outside, because I was so excited. And they tell me, like, what is that? Oh, it's my book. I write about soul, about growing, about consciousness, about dreams. And I won one. I won one. It's like wherever I go, it's like I bring what I do with me. I bring who I am with me, so That's how you become a badass chiropractor, and obviously the techniques and everything, I'll be speaking to you in a little while. They're part of how you become a great chiropractor. But at the foundation of it is not the technique. At the foundation of it is not how good you are with your diagnosis. Yes, you need to have your diagnosis down. Yes, you need not to make mistakes. And yes, you need to adjust well and know your technique. Yet, your success and you becoming an inspiration for your community, and hopefully all of you will be inspiration for the future chiropractic students to come. You're going to be giving the conference to the BCC Philosophy Club. When Axel is going to be gone, somebody else, maybe some of you is going to take over and be an inspiration like he is for BCC and all he does for chiropractic there. So to me, chiropractic can help patients. I don't want to diminish the adjustment, because the adjustment is the most important thing that you want to know how to do in chiropractic. But it's not just the adjustment. It's who you are while you're adjusting. Is how you adjust. Because people say, well, some chiropractors have the philosophy that they adjust because they want to decrease the pain and increase the range of motion of a joint. And that works wonderful. And that really helps that way. For somebody instead, they want to adjust people because this way their organ inside are working better, and maybe the person can have a better lung capacity. I used to have a patient. He told me many years later, because I didn't ask him anymore. He was coming in, I was just adjusting. And he said, I was coming in, you would used to adjust me my T7, and my asthma would be like 80% gone. And I would go for months to months, and that was just helpful. You may do that adjustment for that. Or, like when I do adjustment for network, people, with a network wave and the network adjustment, which makes the spine and the subluxation go away, all of a sudden people change their life, their quality of life, they change their habits, because they develop this ability to self-observe and realize that they need to change also their environment and the way they eat and the way they do things. Still the same adjustment. So chiropractic adjustment, it can be so much more for some of you that you might think. It's not only for pain. It might be for organs. It may be for, brain function. If you have a right brain hyperactive kid or whoever else, chiropractic adjustment can really stimulate by adjusting on the left side, that right brain. All of a sudden that kid can be helped a little bit in his hyperactivity or in his dyslexia with the left brain, whatever that is. Okay. So by the way, for the people that follow the story that maybe I share about the autistic kid, on Thursday, to the people that they're going to be there from my seminar, I'm going to probably show you a piece of video after four session with an autistic kid that was absolutely useless on the table. Now he's actually muscle testing. He's actually doing what I'm saying he's doing, and it's just like, for the mother, is a miracle. Okay. So chiropractic can be so amazing. And chiropractic is not only the adjustment. As I said before, because people will ask you about food, for me, chiropractic toxicity will affect the spine, will affect the way we are. So chiropractic nutrition for me is as important. For me, the way people think is important. For me, the way their jaw are, the feet are, the peripheral joint. I don't only adjust the spine, I adjust the entire body if I need to. Even the people that know me, I often speak about energetic bionomics. Energetic bionomics. That is the science of how we deal with the environment. And that is huge too. We have like people that they come in and they might have a recurrent subluxation because they sleep on a place where there is electricity next to them. And we don't know why we need to keep on adjusting. So for me, chiropractic is so much more. Is detox, is nutrition, is neurology, is mental and emotional coaching, is it's so much more. And that's how I put together all of that in the Hort method, and that's what I teach. And so yes, when you are in school, if you can, take seminars on nutrition, take seminars on mental and emotional techniques, take seminars on obviously also adjustment, because you do want to have to be able to adjust anything anytime that you need to, you know. uh, for me, if somebody has a fracture in their spine, it doesn't mean I cannot adjust below and above. It's not something I cannot touch. In fact, if somebody has a fracture in the spine, I want to make sure that the rest of the spine works better so that the spine can heal at its best. I remember one of my most successful cases was a biker. I used to treat a lot of professional biker during the Tour de Suisse, during one of the Swiss races. He fell down, he broke his jaw, he broke his C1, TP, and his C7 SP. And the neurologist at the hospital, he said, no neurological lesion, go to Dominique, the neurologist, send it to me. He says, you know what to do with these people. He came in, I worked with him. I did a lot of best at that time. I did some nutrition. I did a lot of things. I adjusted everything I could, obviously not the TP of C1 and not the SP of, I took that C7 Gonstead P2A, right? No, because it was detached. But, but everything else I did. And after 3 weeks, we had him on the bike with a collar, and we had to train in hidden places because for insurance purposes, he was not supposed to yet be on the bike. But he was supposed to finish his career. And after 4 months, he arrived third at the World Championship in Colombia. And from there on, I had like 20 bikers, and I have here, like jersey of the Tour of Switzerland, of the Tour of Italy. And, all my patients used to bring me that. If you like to follow sports people, the big why, man, it's chiropractic. I mean, it's like exactly how we can be so powerful for them. So yeah, chiropractic can be so much more than you think it can. And also it can and will fit you exactly as you are. You don't need to have the stress that you need to do everything. You may be really interested only in one thing. And there are plenty of people that will need just that one thing. So for me, my philosophy, of chiropractic is that in our profession, we need everybody. We need the straighters, we need the HIO, we need the Gonstead, we need the BGI, the NSA, the whatever, the motion palpation guide, nobody is wrong. We have people to serve out there. And what I want you to be, I want you to be successful. I want you to see as many patients as you want to see. That means if you say, I want to have my office full works for me is 70 patients a week, I want you to have 70 patients. If instead for you is seeing 300 patients a week, I want you to see 300 patients a week, so that all of us can make this huge difference in this world. All of us can make this huge difference for the people out there, because right now there is a major need of us as chiropractors, because people are struggling in their homes. They're struggling with their brains. They're struggling with the coronavirus. I take care of a lot of patients with coronavirus, and when they're done with it, I tell you, they're still fucked up. They still have this inflammation going on. And we can help them if you know nutrition, if you know some of the stuff that I teach, because we can really help people get back on their track and not lose faith and not lose the mental and the emotional strength that it requires to stay creative in this time and age. Because we know that the situation is hard. So, well, if it's hard, then come in, get adjusted. Make sure you work at your best so you can find that solution for your family. You lost your job, you want to be at your best to find a better one for you and your family. Come in, let's figure it out. This is what we can do. This is for me what chiropractic is. For me, there is not a single technique that to me it impresses me more than the other. For me, there is not a wrong technique. There is a technique that is applied at a wrong time for the wrong reason. Yes, absolutely. Okay. If a person is willing to do the work for itself, for himself or for herself, and if he wants to grow and heal, maybe I do not want to do the work for them and adjust them. Maybe I want to do a BGI, or I want to do a best adjustment, or I want to do a network adjustment that forces that wave through. And so the body self-heal. And so that's the perfect adjustment for them in that moment. And maybe instead you got the person that comes in and really needs to be adjusted because he needs to work, otherwise he loses his job, and you just sit him down and you just adjust him. And that's the perfect adjustment, and that's the perfect technique. So yeah, I can say from the bottom of my heart, the one that opened my vision to healing the most is Donny Epstein and his network, because it gave me that extra edge where I can work with people at a higher level of consciousness. But it's not that I quit adjusting or taking care of the people that they're not there and they're not ready for it, or they don't want it, or it doesn't work for them. I still do the rest. So I use all those techniques. I use a neuro emotional technique for emotions, but I use also BEST for emotion, or I use TBM for emotion, or I use Netra for emotion with the SRI for the emotional technique. When I do allergy technique, where I desensitize for an allergy, for example, I may use an AET as a technique to desensitize. I may use NOT. I may use TBM for it. I test and then I see what works best for that patient. I don't have an emotional attachment to a technique at all. I want to see how they all play out together. I want to use whatever works best. So, right now, for example, I'm doing a lot of work with DNA analysis. With people, you can test the DNA through the saliva, and then you can see in your DNA what are your problem that you might create for yourself if you don't make the right changes in your life. And so with some of my patients, we're working on that, which is the most amazing prevention, right? We know the DNA doesn't determine your future. The DNA is only a potential. The DNA is turned on and off, like Bruce Lipton very well teaches, by the way the membrane of the cell sends the information of how the environment is for the DNA to produce what it needs to produce. We'll work with that when I'm going to teach you about nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And so then you test and you say, okay, well, you got that gene that is downregulated, is not working very well. So you might need to take extra form of folic acid. Otherwise, you're going to always create yourself inflammation and stuff like that. I just give you an example. Okay. So for me, that's a great technique as well, and goes through applied kinesiology, which for me is a great technique as well. But it's not just one that impressed me more than the other. For me, the technique that impresses me the most is the one that works the best in the patient I have in front of me. It might even be a certain amount of techniques together, because maybe I use 5 or 6 or 7 techniques at once on a patient during a session. So that was one of the questions, right? What was the technique that actually impressed me the most? Chiropractic, that's what impressed me the most. I can tell you guys that. And somebody asked me, what is DNA, not TNA. Okay, so DNA. So somebody asked me, what was the biggest life lesson I learned in life? And it was actually from a chiropractor friend of mine, a coach I coached with for 8 years. For 8 years, I was a coach for NSA chiropractic offices. I used to teach marketing and management and communication and leadership. Pierre Bernier, he lives in Gatineau. He's next to Ottawa in Canada, French-speaking Canadian. And, he really taught me about, the first you want to be so you can do better and so you can have better. And in my life, I was a lot concentrated always into the do, but recognizing that my success didn't come from the fact that I was doing things better than other people, but I was being, as a person, the best I could be, not better than other people, but the best I could be. And because people recognize me being the best I could be, they wanted to learn how to be the best they could be. And if I tell them, well, I got adjusted, then they would want to be adjusted. If I told them eat in a certain way and I pay attention, then they would pay attention to their food, and so on and so on and so on, And when you feel good in who you are as soul, when you are this entity inside of yourself that is grateful for life and totally excited about what it produces through this vessel called the body, when you can really, if we go to philosophy right now, if you can really, you as soul, really channel this universal intelligence and really have the inspiration to listen to what life wants from you, what does the universal intelligence wants you to do on this patient, How can you help this person be better? What are the signals? How do you know? How do you process all this information? When you know that you do that by being the best you can be, by having the best spine you can be, by having inside the best biochemistry you can have, by eating the best food, and by really learning how to play the best emotion and the best thought process and the best belief system, when you are that vessel, when you have created that vessel for yourself, then you can express that innate that you are, that soul that you are, and just, magic happens. Just magic happens. It's just like, it's not because you do it, it's because you be it. Can we say that? It's because you be it. And then all of a sudden, because you are that, then you manifest that, and you manifest that by doing it. And when you do amazing things because you are an amazing person, then obviously you're gonna have amazing things back. You're gonna have gratitude back. You're gonna have love back. You're gonna have money back. You're gonna have a lot of the things that we do not want to start thinking first. We want to start thinking about those things last. First is who I am and how good I can be. Then naturally allow this to become great at what I do, so I can become great at what I will attract for myself and for the people I love. That was for me the biggest lesson I received in life, to really realize this concept that I was practicing it, but nobody ever taught it to me this way. And Pierre really, we were teaching together. I was teaching that part of the seminar that we used to teach, and it opened my soul to, okay, yeah, this is really the solution. Is the big rock first, right? If you want to put in a jar the most amount of things, start with the big thing. Well, the biggest thing is you as soul. So work on yourself, make sure that you build yourself. When I get up in the morning, I do my meditation, I do my leadership, I plan the day on how I want to be first, and then what I'm going to do. That's basically the whole thing. And so uh, that's it. I mean, these are the questions you asked me. Hopefully, I was able to share some of the stuff that I who I am and what I do, and hopefully, I'll be able to inspire you more and more the year to come, in showing you what I know, and be there for you if you guys have challenges, or if you have problems, or if you have lack of whatever. So. Axel, s'il y a des questions, si avete des domande, if you have questions, just shoot. And, we still have like few minutes. We can just, I can, whatever, I can inspire you more, or answer if you have any question about anything, philosophy or chiropractic or anything you want. Write it down if you want to write it in the chat, or speak it out. Would you say that chiropractic role is to help somehow technique or else people? Would you say that the chiropractic role is to help somehow people? Yeah. In my opinion, we are here to allow, so that's my ultimate goal, right? My ultimate goal with a patient is that he realizes, or she realizes, she comes to me as a chiropractor because I can help him or her help themselves. That's what I want. Ideally, I want their nervous system to be so healthy. I want their biochemistry, the emotional, the spirit, the place where they live to be so healthy that they can become the inspiration for their own life. I might say, well, from my experience, this is this and this is that. What do you feel is best for you right now? How can you try to make it work and see how it is? It's the same for me, right? It's not like I want somebody to fix me. I want somebody to inspire me so I learn how to heal myself, right? We want that ultimately. And at the beginning, obviously, not all patients are like that. At the beginning, you might have patients that really, doc, it hurts here. Can you fix me? And of course, you're going to try to do that, but you're going to try to do it in a way that I understand that there is something more to that subluxation, to understand that they created that. And if they created that, understanding why they did it. And if they understand why they did it, what can they change in their life so they stop creating their old problems? So yes, I think that we can hugely help the people that we serve by inspiring them to be better people for themselves and for their families. Anybody else? Any questions? Turn on your mic, ask, don't be shy.
I do have a question for you.
Andrea, tell me.
Yeah. So first of all, I really want to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experience because it's been really, really inspiring. And and I wanna so like before you talk about like the importance of like keep updating yourself, search for new information, and so on. But where do you think is the let's say the boundary between acquiring new knowledge and be specific and focus enough on one particular thing in order to master it?
Oh, this is a great question, Andy. Okay, so yeah, it's a great question because I started. So it works this way, right? You have a patient in front of you. Imagine like a practical situation, right? Let's say a person comes in, and he comes in and he has I don't know, he has a big shit going on. Like maybe he's a kid, and like with that autistic kid that I was taking care of at the beginning of November. With that kid, you gotta be a maniac. You understand what I'm being a maniac? Like you gotta know everything you can, because anything can make a huge difference and the situation is bad. Somebody comes in and is fighting cancer. I mean, there are not like, well, let me do general things. Let me be general. No, with those people, you gotta be really specific. And there is not a better way to be between I know a few things, but I know them very well, or I know a lot of things, but I don't know them so well. I don't think is one is better than the other. I think in some situation you might need to be really, really good at this. And in other times, it works much better to do few general things on the person and allow that person to heal. What I've noticed, for example, is that unless there is a major problem with one system, like I don't know, like a major problem with the nutritional system of a patient, and therefore you maybe have to really know your nutrition super, super well. Uh, but if it's not that, if you know how to adjust well, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to be Gonstead. But if you know how to adjust well, if you know the general things about how to help this person nutritionally, if you know generally well some of the stuff that a person need, and you do that, the healing power of that person will take over and will be able to heal. Now, I understand your question. I'm a student. I have so much that I can study. Do I study everything, okay, and then be general, or do I study something specific and then I'm be great at that? My answer to you is that you got to be a maniac on adjusting. That needs to be there. So like I was 3 hours a day practicing every day. I used to be there and go boom, 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 boom for like an hour and a half, all those things like knee, and so you do that until it becomes second nature. You feel with the right hand the way what you feel with the left hand. I mean, no question about that. But after that, the whole world opens up to you. Maybe Andrea, for you, nutrition is your thing. You like it. You like the biochemistry of it. I have friends, they did a master in nutrition after they become chiropractors. It was their gig. I became a certified clinical nutritionist. I made like another title, right? Because I love the biochemistry. But you made absolute, sorry, I'm looking down because I see you down in my picture, but you're here. So you might be not necessarily passionate about nutrition. So, though you want to know about nutrition, you may take a general seminar, like a seminar I give in nutrition, which is a general seminar where I see the things that work in the office and that's it. And you're not going to know the perfect pathway of the Krebs cycle and by heart all the vitamins that you need for each part of the citric acid cycle. You're not going to know those things because you don't care. Maybe for you, you're going to be so passionate about the emotional part, and therefore you're going to know Neuro Emotional Technique and best so well, because that for you is what moves you right now, and you're going to try that kind of patients. And so if you have time after you have done your great adjustment, which should be first and foremost, then you're going to go into that kind of stuff. You're going to maybe want to coach your patients and become a really great coach. For me now, I'm very good at what I do, but hey guys, it's 30 years I'm doing this. I've taken hundreds of seminars. People says, oh, you speak so well. Yeah, I've given over 500 conferences, 600 conferences. I spoke to 30,000 people. If I was not good, it was bad after speaking to so many people. You are all going to be that good when you speak to so many people in your life. It's not because I'm particularly gifted. So you're going to figure out what can you do to be, some things you're going to study them and say, now it's enough. And this I go deeper just if I need to. I just know enough that if I have a patient that shows that up, I know where to go and look it up. This I'm going to ask every patient, because if this is there for me right now is the most important thing. And so I'm going to go for it no matter what. Right? For so many years, I was teaching detoxification programs. And so I was having all my people on detox programs. It was a moment where for me it was so important. And right now it is, because the more we go on, the more the world is polluted. So that's why I became very good at it. But it took me 30 years to study very well everything. And I still do. When you look at my house, it's full of books everywhere. I study every day. I would say between 20 to 30 to 40 minutes every day, I study new things, read new books on psychology, nutrition, chiropractic, whatever you want to call it. So is that answering a little bit your question? Hopefully, Andy.
Yes, completely. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Anybody else?
Hey Dom.
Yes. Oh, oui.
Salut Léo. Oh,
Salut Dominique. J'ai une question. Des fois, je vais le faire en français parce que c'est un peu chaud en anglais.
Okay,
Léo, hey,
I will translate. Come on, Léo, vas-y, en français.
Il y a des fois où j'ai l'impression que le testing musculaire ne fonctionne pas correctement, où j'ai l'impression que je ne suis pas objectif quand je le fais, ou même pas uniquement le testing musculaire, mais dans d'autres techniques. J'ai l'impression que rien ne marche sur cette personne. Et voilà, qu'est-ce que t'en dis?
Okay, so question is, Léo, super question. So, Léon asks, sometimes I do muscle testing and I don't feel sure about the muscle testing. I don't know if I'm making this up, if I'm projecting on the person, if I have a right answer from the body. Even when I use other techniques, is this like giving me really, the feedback that I need to make the decision I need to make, right? So I'm very happy you feel this way, Leo. Okay, because if being a student, you would say, oh, no problem, like my test musculaire is wonderful. I get every answer all the time perfectly. I know exactly what I'm doing. I would start questioning if you're doing things right. Because when you're going to work, especially at the beginning, I do maybe 10, 15, 20 muscle testing on each patient for 50 patients a day, for 50 weeks a year, for 30 years. Now I can muscle test and I can be sure, but sometimes I'm not even sure. Maybe I need to do also a best question. You know how you do with best and you ask with the feet. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I use other things. And that's where your experience comes in, and you put it with the symptoms the person has. And sometimes even with everything else, even with everything like that, and this is important for you student to know, I'm not always sure that the person next time is going to be better. I really don't. I just know that I have done the best I could in that moment. And then we're going to see how the person reacts. Did I see that vertebra really be better? Or is it back to be blocked the same way? So maybe I missed something. Or they tried that and they didn't work very well because maybe I was off with my muscle testing and I gave them like a probiotic and instead it was a different one. Well, we tested again and we see what is. I'm not by far always sure about my testing as well, but I am pretty sure now. But no, it was not the same when I started. So that's first part of my answer. Okay. The second part of my answer is, when you do best, when you do applied kinesiology, when you use these energy techniques to assess your patients, obviously you do that on top of everything clinically you are supposed to do as a doctor, okay, not as the only technique. But that the result or the muscle testing is always a result between two people. You're not testing that person. It's you testing that person. The two of you are working there. So you're going to learn, for example, that you can do muscle testing by just thinking something. For example, right? So I test something. I says, does he need 1 vitamin C a day? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 vitamin C a day. I was just thinking. It was my mental projection onto the muscle that gave me the answer. That's energy medicine. So you're going to learn that sometimes you're not in a great day. And so sometimes maybe while you're doing a muscle testing, you're, part of your unconscious pay attention to your low back that is a little bit painful, or maybe of the test that you have to do tomorrow and you're not study very well for it and you don't know for it. So that's answer number 2. There's always a relationship, and you're going to learn how to be more and more objective and be less and less in the way. Do you understand what I mean by be less in the way? Okay. Third, sometimes the patient, him or herself, has a hierarchy of things that is going to show you. They might not be what you want to work with. So you might have a shaky answer through a muscle testing, or a shaky answer through a BEST, for example, is just because the body doesn't give you a clear answer, because you got to do something else. You got to first do something else, and then that's just going to show up easier. There are other reasons. Somebody may be switched, disorganized neurologically, and therefore it's going to give you answers that they're not that clear. For example, they might be things they might be thinking in that moment. They fuck up your test, right? Because you put like a pill in the mouth, or you ask them to think about something, but they have a problem with their mother also that they're going to see right when they're finished to see you. And you think they're thinking about their child, they're thinking about their mother. And then all of a sudden, your system picks up something different. So it's not always about you, really. Is this answering a little bit? Does this give you ideas? Okay, great. Because
Perfect, thanks.
This is what I want to share with you guys. This is what I want to share, the practicality of it, because you don't have that, because you cannot have that. You have not worked long enough to have it. And that's how my brain thinks. Okay, well, I don't have a clear test. What can it be? This and this and this and this and this. And then you figure out situations. You'll be, if you're asking this question, you're going to be a great AK doctor. Anybody else has questions?
Yes. We have a question from Gideon, who is asking, what kind of technique or what do you do to, as a practice every day for maintaining your high energy?
On myself?
Yeah.
Okay, several. So, well, first of all, I work as a soul, so I do my meditation. I call them spiritual contemplation, right? One of my spiritual contemplation. I don't sing the Om, but I sing the Hu. Hu is a sacred name of God, so I sing that, and I open my third eye, and I open my heart in gratitude to the divine. So that's how I start the day. That's how I finish the day. So I draw as much spiritual energy in from gratitude and from the high spiritual planes. That's the first thing I do. Mentally, let me show you. Okay, so here I have my diary, right? So every day when I wake up in the morning, I write my dreams, right? And then I write in green here, I write the most important things I want to keep in my sight during the day. It might be, I don't know what, in this day was walk the middle path, which means don't be pushed towards the extremes. Try to stay balanced. And so I have a paper that, that I put on my computer, that I put around. And so I stay focused with that. That's for my mind. Every day is different. Today was focusing on, this is my spiritual master. So it was focusing on the gaze of the spiritual master. So every time I would write on my computer, I would see his picture and connect to spirit and say, okay, in universal intelligence, work through me, I'm helping this patient. So that's what I do spiritually and mentally. So, and for many, many years, I've done all the Anthony Robbins University. I've read books. So every day I read books about how to be sharp in your brain and in your mind. When you work, for me to stay on top with my energy. By the way, I'm going to give this lecture, I think, in France, when I'm going to be in France in late spring, on how to build energy. So my mind needs great energy from the food I eat. So I know the food that really helps me generate this kind of energy in my body, and I know the food that takes away energy from my body. So for me, it's if I start eating sugar, I go down the hill, because I used to suffer from hypoglycemia. That's one really bad thing that if I do, then I know the next day I'll be a little bit less. Are things that that my body doesn't react well, and I things that genetically I need to have more, like vitamin C, vitamin A, are certain things that I need to take more. So those things I do. Those are personalized things to me. Emotionally, very often I focus on an emotion during the day, so that I can play it out. And so when you do an emotion every day, a positive emotion, a positive virtue, for example, I want to, like, one day can be tolerance, for example, which is more like of a mental emotional state. So that when a patient comes in and maybe you have told them already in 3 times that they're not supposed to eat what they keep on eating, or do the wrong thing that they keep on doing, and therefore they come back and they have pains or their belly's swollen, you're tolerant to them, for example, me, tolerant to them, so that I don't jump on them. And so I hold the space for them, so that I can understand them better, be empathic, so that I understand why they were not able to do what they knew they were supposed to do. And so that then we can work deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I basically work on at every level. I have my bionomics things that they create energy around me. So my office is all treated energetically, and is this great energy that sustains my health, that sustains my power all day long, because I am living in a place that has super high energy. So the place where I live, my spirit, my mental body, my emotional body, my physical body. I train, I do yoga, I do what I can. I go walk, and I used to be an athlete, so that's what I would do. And so I do that a little bit every day, And at the end of the year, at the end of the day, I write down what I've done, and I write down, okay, today I walked this way, I chanted the hue 2 times, or if I did some mistakes, I write them down, try to learn from it. And at the end of the year, I do all my statistics, and I see how many times I went to walk, how many times I meditate, how many times I've done yoga. And so this way I see year by year, how am I doing and how the year has gone. And I study myself. I really wish for all my patients that they learn how to study themselves, so they know what to do to stay healthy or to go back to be healthy if something happened that made them sick. That's basically what it is. And I wish for you start making a study of yourself. In this case, you are a student. So what makes you be more focused in school? What makes you have a better memory? What makes you be better students, more focused, more passionate, more alive? What are the things I get adjusted? Well, what kind of adjustment is helping you right now? Is more of a structural adjustment? Is more of a tonal adjustment? And who does it better for you? And what is it that you're committing to yourself to be the best you can be, and be a student of yourself? Because Leo will have to do different things from Julie, and from Andrea, and from Mathieu, and from everybody else that is there. There is not a single recipe that's going to be the same for everybody. The same with our patients. And that's why you want to serve the person as always if they're a unique individual, because they are. Is that good enough of an answer? That's what I do every day. Every day. Okay, so there is a question. Okay, what do you tell your patient when they tell you, I looked up chiropractic videos on YouTube and now I am scared? That's a good one, right? So I don't know, did you, Axel, did you share what my philosophy is about putting YouTube videos on?
Yes. I share it on the. Well, it's only the 4th year students, but I can share that to everybody if they want.
Okay, so I am not very fond of people. I understand that people wants to show chiropractic to everybody, and so they want to show how great it is. For me, when it's needed, if a C1 goes from Barcelona all the way to Valencia, when I give an adjustment, you know, and if the right thing is, I get excited, right? Oh, wow, that was amazing. I changed the neurology of it. I can see the muscle testing became strong. For me, it's a very positive thing, but because I do this every day, I see the benefits every day. It's not only the adjustment. The adjustment is the mean, is the tool. But then I put it on a video on YouTube for people that they don't know. They have never seen something like that. And the only thing they see is this karate, jujitsu, whatever, you know, they associate it with the martial arts thing when they go and the person dies, right? And they hear this amazing noise coming out of them and they get scared. Of course they get scared. I would get scared if I didn't know. If I didn't know, I would. So if somebody tells me, you know, I saw a video, you know, and it looks scary, I says it is. It definitely looks scary, that thing. And it is scary to you because you don't know what it is and what it does. But if I tell you that most of it is actually gas moving through the joint and making this noise, and that is painless and actually can save people's lives, you probably wouldn't be scared, right? But if I showed you what they do to your hip when they change your hip, when I show you a video of a orthopedic surgeon and how they bang and they're sewing and then bam, bam, bam. I don't know if you ever seen a surgery like that. You would probably escape from, you know, from a surgery like this. And rightly so, right? But when you understand the context of it, well, then you can understand how it is, you know. If I have a great report with that patient, I would say wait until I am the one doing that noise on your neck, because your ears are much closer to that C1 that were close to that video that you watched, and the sound is actually louder. And I start laughing about it. It depends what kind of approach you want to have. With a lot of patients, I say, well, that's just one chiropractic technique. I use technique where the maximum touch I do is like this. And you're going to move on the table, you're going to self-adjust. If that scares you, I don't need to do it. I can do completely different things and be as effective as unblocking that vertebra, because that's what, if that was adjusted, is because that was with the problem. Well, we can go in other ways, and there are amazing, wonderful chiropractic technique that we can use until you feel comfortable that if I adjust your foot or something, you don't get scared. That's what you do a lot with children, right? A lot of children, they get scared once in a while when you adjust them, and a lot of them don't. So if they're scared, well, I do a lot of network, and then maybe 2 years later, they says, "Oh, can you do that crack on my, my foot or whatever else?" They're gonna learn. So, Julie, is that answering a little bit the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so when you're starting with a new patient every 5 years, how long do you spend with the patient per session? How many sessions a week? How often usually you tell your patient to get adjusted? We love you. Thank you. I love you too. So my first session is an hour long. Okay, who has done my seminar, I've shown how I do a first session is an hour long, because I test a lot of things. So, and after that, it depends. It depends on, if I need to work on a spine that is very tight, very often I may ask them to come in once a week for 6 weeks, where I do one session of network that will last 20 minutes. And after that, I do a reeval, and I see them again one-on-one privately. And then it depends. If a person comes in for allergies and things like that, I may keep them privately, and I see them maybe one every 3 weeks, one every 2 weeks. It depends the problem that they have. I usually don't see people more than once a week, once every 2 weeks. That's just how my practice works. I have 500, 600 people under care, and I see them every 2 months, 1 month. If they are in huge pains, I become a beast at finding out why and how to help them out, so that I don't need to see them twice a week, 3 times a week. I never have to see people once or twice or 3 times a week. I see them once a week maximum. I cannot think of a patient that I've seen more than once a week this year, for example. So, and they usually, when I see them people privately one-on-one, I see them for 15 minutes afterwards, and after the first visit. And when I see them in the open room, when I do network with them, I work on 3 tables or 4 tables, and I have 20 minutes per shift. So I have 4 people and 20 minutes for 4 people. Hopefully I was clear enough in explaining how that works. And I have hours where I do group room and hours where I do private rooms. And in the private rooms, that's where I test for the nutrition, the neurology, and everything else. In the group room, that's where I do spinal analysis. But it really depends. Everybody's different. Now, the way I do with a lot of patients, I maybe see them every month, twice in network, and then every 4 weeks, and then in 3 months, you come in a private session. And then you have reactivations, right? I don't see new patients, but I might see a patient that I see just once in a while. All of a sudden, like today, I had a patient that fell off of a stair, and so it was all, beat up. So this person, I did a great job, 15 minutes, a reeval, and then I'm gonna see him in a month. If the pain don't go away after a week or something. Yeah, that's pretty much the frequency that I see patients. I don't see patients very often at all. Never did. Any other questions before we close? I can go on speaking forever, so you gotta ask me though. All right, so if there are no other questions, then I hope that this time that we spent together was inspirational for you, as it was for me. I'm always very, very happy to speak to students and to teach students, as I will for the next few years. And I'm actually one of the teachers when you take the Swiss program, when you're done with chiropractic school, then you have to do 2 years of assistantship by another chiropractor. And every Thursday you meet in the Bern, which is the capital of Switzerland. And then you receive courses by chiropractic in the field. That's mandatory. And in that program, I teach chiropractic and sport, and I teach chiropractic and nutrition. So I'm used to teach the students. I love to give my help to you all. You are the future of our profession, and our profession needs you guys. We really need you right now, because people need you out there, and I need you with an open mind, with passion. I need you to, to come in and to help us out, to really help us out. I turn away between 5 and 20 new patients a week because I don't have time to see them. We need you guys to come out the best you can, serve the best you can, have fun the best you can, and help your community. The world needs chiropractic, and chiropractic can only come to the world through you students. Okay, everybody, give more info on your seminars. Okay, so I didn't speak about my seminars because Axel shared with me that he doesn't want the philosophy class to be like a place where people do commercial on themselves. And I agree with that, and I respect that completely. So I wanted to really speak more about things that could be useful for you and inspiring you and answer your questions. Soon I will come out with what I'm going to be teaching next year, and I'm sure Axel is going to be sharing that with you, so that this doesn't become like an infomercial for what I'm going to be teaching.
You can share a bit what you say.
Écris, qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? Axel, écris ce que tu veux dire, comme ça je comprends.
Yes, you. Oh my God, it's gonna be everywhere. Read the chat.
Okay. Well, right now on the chat is ready. Give me more info on your seminar. So yeah, I'm teaching a series of seminars on how I work. I've taught the basic seminar on how I work with people. In January, it's going to be available. Who was not there, I really wish that you guys watch the seminar. Ask the people that have been to the seminar. I think it's very, very important. And now, thank you for your approval, Axel. and now the people that were at the seminar asked me if I could teach all the techniques that I use. So I use applied kinesiology, I use neurology, I use nutrition, I use detox, I use TMJ, feet. I coach my patients, I do energetic bionomics, I do all those things. So I'm going to teach a series of seminars 2-day seminars. We're going to start with 3 seminars next year. What I'm going to do, I'm going to teach though only what I see that you need in your practice. Like, for example, I'm going to give a seminars on applied kinesiology. I'm going to teach you what I see is really needed most of the time in the practice. And then if you're interested to go deeper, there are many people that teaches applied kinesiology. So you're going to go and take a course with them. I'm going to teach you about nutrition for sure next year because it's so important. I'm going to teach you what the patient come in with their problems. What are the problems the chiropractor see for nutrition all day long? And I want you to have the right answer, know how to test for those things, and know what to do with those patients. And so I'm going to teach a seminar on that. And then probably the 3rd seminar next year is going to be about mental and emotional stuff. A lot of patients are supposed to change some stuff in their life and they don't do it because their mind and their emotions are fighting them. So I will want probably to teach you that. And if I have time, probably one weekend will be also on energetic bionomics because the environment is becoming more and more toxic and you got to know what to do with your 5G and your mobile phone and everything else and how you can test that on people. I know that you're going to love that. So that's probably what's going to be. I'm already working with Axel to make sure that it happens during weekends, that you're not too close to any exams or anything for you guys in effect and in BCC. When I teach to every chiropractors, not only students, but my focus is for you. I mean, this is why I accepted to teach this seminar, is because it's a lot of work, but if I can help you guys, students, then I'll do it. And so I'll make it as cheap as I can for sure, because I've been a student too. I know how it is. And making sure that I can teach you the things that really, really work and inspire you then to learn more by having a general, really in-depth knowledge of many, many things. I'll teach you about sports chiropractic. I'll teach you about how to take care of disorganized and learning disabled and autistic kids. You know, I will do those seminars the next few years. So that's what I'm going to do. And thank you for asking. I was not going to talk about it, but since you asked me, then yeah, that's what we're going to do next year. The first seminar, I think, is the first seminar is in March, the second is in April, and the third is in September. So, but Axel is going to give you all those information. I don't have anything with me. And I'm creating an ecosystem where you're going to have videos, you're going to have everything that you need to review. And if in the second part of the year, I'm going to start also coaching again. If somebody wants coaching, then that's going to be also in there. So we'll see how that's going to go and how that's going to be. In the meantime, focus on having fun for Christmas. Your exam hopefully are done. And so you guys have fun, a safe fun, so you don't get sick. And I talk to you soon. And it was always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I love the energy of youth. I'm old, but I love to stay with you. Thank you so much. Have a great, great evening. Yes.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.